Hey guys, it's Vince. I wanted to do a quick video covering the details of the type of vinyl I use because I keep getting a lot of questions about the thickness of the material, the strength of the material, just a lot of variable questions, I guess, in terms that people have been burned before as far as what graphics they were using on their model. And a lot of guys, I can honestly say, especially in the graphics industry, they just use inferior product. I mean, instead of using, the best brands as far as like Oracle and, there's a lot of different brands of vinyl in the industry. And the principal vinyl I use, I keep telling you, is ProGrade. And I keep getting, like I said, the questions on, I had one guy tell me his plane did over 100 miles an hour and the graphics he used he felt were too thick and they blew off his model. Guys, that's not possible. I'm just telling you, I don't care how low grade the vinyl is. Vinyl is typically a couple thousandths of an inch in thickness. My particular vinyl, the vinyl I have here that I use for all my graphics, is 4 thousandths of an inch in thickness. Okay, it'll be slightly thicker when you apply clear coat to it. To seal them, it might be 4.5 thousandths at the most. Okay, now to give you an idea and give you a perspective of how big 4 thousandths of an inch is. Okay, everybody is familiar with calipers. Okay, this is 4 thousandths of an inch right there. Where you see that light in that gap right there, that's 4 thousandths of an inch. So add another 0.5 thousandth, which now we're talking less than the thickness of a human hair, and you'll really get the idea of how thick that material is. Okay, so when I hear that guys are saying things like, well, it blew off my plane and it's because the material was too thick. I don't know where that came from, but I'm telling you right now, the reason it blew off your plane or any substrate is because the plane's material, whatever that substrate was, whether it be monocoat, ultracoat, painting, the wood in general, it was not prepped properly prior to applying the graphics. If the graphics are applied to an oily surface or a surface that has any type of a film residue on it, you will not get the bond that you should get. Now, that does not mean that there are not inferior graphics out there. There are, okay? But unless you're doing really, really, really small graphics where the bonding surface is very tiny, odds are your graphics sticking is not going to be the problem. What's going to be the problem is the duration in the time that they stick. There are different chemicals that they use on adhesives that actually make the bond better. And again, you're going to pay more. I pay more for my raw material because I'm using a better quality product. My material is manufactured in the USA. So I can tell you right now, not many people can say they're doing that. Okay, guys are typically going overseas for vinyl, or there's a couple other manufacturers that come from China that manufacture vinyl. It is what it is. I'm just telling you, I pay more. I give you the best value I can for the dollar. I think most of you know that, especially anyone who's dealt with me. But again, just to give you a visual demonstration of how strong a bond that this piece of vinyl has. Now, this is a 3-inch piece of vinyl scrap. Okay, it's just got the backing on. There's nothing special about it. I'm going to take a ruler, and this I'm going to validate is give or take 3 inches. So now you guys can see you're at the 3-inch mark. Okay, this is a 3-inch piece of vinyl, nothing special, nothing to leave home over. But just so I'm not pulling any punches, I want you guys to see what I see. Okay, everybody is familiar with a field battery. 12 volts, 7.2 amp. These batteries weigh about 6 pounds, actually 5.8 pounds to be exact. I've already weighed it. This 3-inch piece of vinyl is going to lift that. And I'm going to show you right now in front of the camera. I'm going to peel it back. This way you can see exactly what I see. Again, the battery itself, surface, is out of an old field box that I've had. I have not used it. There's no glue or anything on this. Matter of fact, it has not even been rubbed with acetone, which you can tell because if you look at it, it's still got a lot of oil marks and different stuff on it. Looks like a residue. I'm just going to lift this off. You can see again, I'm peeling the backing. And again, you can take a peek at how thick that is. Okay? Very, very thin, guys. I'm now going to apply it to the battery. Okay? And what you're going to notice is that when I press to do the creases, that vinyl even adheres to the creases. So what you're seeing here is the bonding strength, again, that's definitely supersedes any tape. Now, that being said, when you use trim Monocoat, because we've all used that, we've all used, there's different grades of trim Monocoat. It's all the same stuff, and it's adhesive-backed Mylar, basically. The one thing you'll notice is that it will also contour to shape because the adhesive strength is really strong. This material has a stronger adhesive strength. You will not notice it until 24 hours have gone by. So right now you're in the application stage of this adhesive. Okay? Once this adhesive has been on that substrate, whatever you mount it to, whether it be your model or a hard substrate, for 24 hours, it becomes in the industry known as permanent because the bond is typically going to damage whatever's underneath before it'll be removed. So you might be able to peel an edge up, but you're not going to remove this typically without pulling something up from underneath. So to give you an idea, now this was just applied, you see me do it on camera. I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to try to shoot this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to balance the battery on this edge so that the leverage is all on this piece of vinyl and so the battery doesn't flip. I'm going to lift it with this piece. And you can see just how easy that is to do. Okay? That is an extremely strong bond. It is off the table. I slipped out of my hand. Hold on one sec. There we go. You can see it's off the table, and I'm just holding the vinyl. Okay? Very, very strong. If I try to lift this without using this finger on this side, I'm going to do it slow and see if we can pick it up. You can see just how strong that is. Okay? It's that strong, guys. I mean, if you push this down, I can tell you right now, and again, this is not at full bonding strength. This right now is still in the application strength mode, meaning that this is right after you peel it off the back, ready to apply it to your model. Most of my graphics will come with transfer tape, especially if they're broken images with fonts and whatnot. But to give you an idea, if I do this slow, you can see that's off the ground. And that's just me lifting the tape. No fancy nothing. So you could see just how strong that adhesion is. Okay? Very, very strong, and I'll tell you, and as far as tensile strength goes, it's vinyl, guys. So this will not give. I mean, it's honestly, you probably could make great hinges with it. If your model was really, if it wasn't that big, I would say you probably can make a nice hinge with it. It's that strong. Again, it's all in the prep work. Once this is applied, a surface should technically, now this surface was not prepped, but a surface should technically be removed of all oil residue. What do you use for that? Well, some guys say they use alcohol. Some guys say they use Windex. Do not use Windex. I can tell you that right now. It does not remove enough residue to use. One of the things I like using is acetone, and a lot of guys say, well, that'll, it's corrosive to a lot of surfaces. That's true. If you use it just in the area you're going to put the graphic, you're fine. You're not going to spray your whole plane with it. Just in the area you're going to put your graphic. Another way you can do it is to use it with some water, a little bit of water diluted, and it'll do the same thing as alcohol, except it's got a little more bite to it. So it'll remove a lot of other residues and stuff, especially if your plane was ever fuel soaked. If you've flown it for a while, it's fuel soaked, and the area you want to put your graphics has fuel. I'm telling you, take your time. Remove all the oil from the plane. I'm telling you now, it's like painting. It's no different. It's all in your prep. It's no different than covering a plane. If you want it to look right, 98% of it is in the prep. So take your time and think about what I'm saying. But as far as the bonding strength of this material, okay, you can see nothing is holding that battery other than that finger balancing right there, and it's off the table. Okay, it's that strong. And once again, it's not in its full strength mode when it goes for 24 hours. Once the adhesion goes for 24 hours, you will not be able to remove this typically without damaging what's underneath. So any more questions, you guys, you shoot them my way. But overall, like I said, this is pretty much amazing as far as strength goes when you figure that's a piece of vinyl holding a 6-pound battery and it's only 3 inches. Okay? So, I mean, again, when you think about this being applied to your plane, I can't think. I've used this vinyl on cars that do way more than 100 miles an hour. I can tell you, I've done a couple Lamborghinis. This will definitely hold up. especially when it's sealed. When I actually go over this and seal these with clear coat, I'm doing it specific to our use. Why? Because I myself fly, and I only fly Nitro models, so I'm going to tell you right now that I made sure everything was safe prior to me ever offering them to you. Okay, so everything I'm using is pro grade, everything is sealed. Now you have an idea of the adhesion strength. And remember, this is only a 3-inch piece of vinyl, so if your graphic is bigger than this, the adhesion strength is going to be even more than what you're seeing now. Okay, I can honestly tell you, a 6 pound of anything on our models, when you think about 6 pounds of force of pulling power, okay, when you're talking tensile strength that way, it'll usually damage your plane. It'll damage your wing or leave a mark easily before it'll come off. So just take that into consideration when you guys are looking. And again, thickness, 0.04 of an inch. I mean, there's no gimmick there. I mean, we're talking very, very thin. And on top of that, when it's coated, it will be probably another 0.5, so say 4.5 of an inch in thickness. As far as it being removed from your plane, I tell you, I've never seen it. I've never heard of anything like that. And again, I still question the application methods used, whether even if it's unless you're using like masking tape, I've never, ever, ever seen vinyl come off unless it's of aged, if it's older vinyl, or if the surface was not prepped correctly to begin with. So these are things just to take into consideration. Once again, I hope this video has been helpful. If you guys are looking at graphics, don't be afraid to ask, what kind of adhesive does the company use? I mean, they'll probably tell you. Most people will let them know right away. I'm kind of picky about the stuff I use because I usually am doing high-end stuff. RC stuff I've really, after I did some thinking, I wanted to offer, a lot of higher-end graphics to the hobby, but of course I had to do it within reason as far as budget and raw materials. So now you're seeing, again, the kind of material I'm using, and again, it is made in the USA, which I'm proud of. And again, when you're doing your model, to me, if I'm going to do it, and Monocoat's about $8, $9 a roll. Ultracoat, same thing. Now they're going up in price, especially with shipping. If you do the math, and I mean seriously, do the math, you can graphic your whole package 98% of the time with me. I can do a graphics package that's probably going to be cheaper than Monocoat or Ultracoat. And best of all, you're not going to get the authenticity you'll get with pro-grade graphics. And why is that? Because the computer's generating it, guys. I mean, I'm doing it with a PC. It's extremely accurate. I'm also using a pro-grade cutter, Graphtec cutter, which, again, top name in the industry. You're going to have a plane that resembles, if you're doing full scale, it will resemble a full-scale plane. Pending you did the work and the rest of the model looks good, you're not going to have a problem. So anybody who's actually bought from me will, I'm pretty sure, go over and let you know exactly what to expect. But overall, now you guys have an idea and an understanding of what kind of material I'm using. So if you guys have any questions, let me know, and we'll take care of you. Thank you.